So what's going on guys, Kate's here and welcome back to a brand new video. For today I will show you the last Epoch class guide in 2023. This game in general has a bunch of fun and overpowered classes and masteries to play, and we have a very unique variety to choose from. But the big question is, which classes are actually good and will do the highest damage and much more. So I've done a bunch of testing and here are the best classes and masteries that you should try out. So if this sounds interesting to you, then let's get right into it. So then moving over to the first class, which is the Sentinel. The Sentinel is your typical warrior/knight type of class, with lots of support for melee, including the ability to dual wield and armor and shields. This class fits the player who likes the bruiser type of playstyle. He also has some of the highest support for throwing attacks in the game. The Paladin mastery will fit the theme of a tanky healer, through multiple healing skills and strong support of healing effects. Thanks to the warpath, the Sentinel is also the best choice for players who like to spin to win. And overall the Sentinel has 3 masteries/subclasses available, so the Void Knight, Forge Guard and the Paladin. The first Void Knight mastery specializes in void damage, and it happens to be the only mastery with a void support. Void Knight has nose for leech, and then a void based ailment called the Time Root, and damage increases for not wearing a shield. However, the most interesting feature of this mastery is the ability to create echoes. Echoes create a copy of one of your skills a short period after using that specific skill. While this mastery is largely themed around melee, it also can support throwing skills. And the Sentinel subclass has one of the most powerful builds based around void spells. Then the second one is the Forge Guard. This mastery is themed around physical damage, which includes the ailment Bleed. Forge Guard provides support for both two-handed and swords and board playstyles. There are also a number of passive nodes devoted to the throwing attacks. This mastery bonuses are devoted to the defense through armor and resistance. And then finally we have the Paladin. This mastery is themed around fire damage, including the element Ignite and healing, as well as block, armor, health and even some bleed and lightning damage. This mastery bonuses provide increase to fire, lightning, physical damage and healing effects. Paladin also has the unique mechanic of being able to scale the adaptive spell damage while wearing a shield, allowing for a tanky spellcaster playstyle. Then for the second main class we have the Mage. Every ARPG needs a Mage class, and last Epoch is no different. The Mage uses elemental damage to destroy their enemies, which means that they have tons of skills for fire, lightning and cold damage types. This class also takes the advantage of the ward, which provides a strong defense layer. As far as masteries go, the Mage provides players with your typical Mage playstyle, that deals damage by using spells, which is often at range. The Spellblade plays more differently, using melee attacks combined with spells and a lots of ward generation to create a unique playstyle. The Mage has overall 3 subclasses/masteries, called the Sorcerer, Spellblade and the Rune Master. The first Sorcerer mastery is your typical spellcaster, which specializes in ranged spells and big elemental AoE damage. He's themed around fire, lightning and cold damage, and critical strikes are well supported by the Sorcerer's skills and passives. While you won't get as much crits as the Spellblade, the Sorcerer still has support for the ward. The mastery bonuses provide additional mana and spell damage. Then the second one is the Spellblade. This mastery is your typical melee wielding spellcaster. He has a bunch of melee skills that can also proc spells, synergistically bleeding the two playstyles together into a very satisfying combination. Like the Sorcerer, the Spellblades are themed around fire, lightning and cold damage. They have superior ward generation support than the Sorcerer, which is necessary due to their tendency to be in a melee range. Spellblades also have a lot of support for using one skill to build up damage and then unleashing it with a huge burst from another. So if you're looking for a generation/spender type of playstyle, then this is the mastery for you. And then for the final mastery we have the Rune Master. We will be able to cast the elemental skills that create runes that are based around the elemental type of the skill. Using runic invocation, this will expand those runes to choose a spell to cast. The spell it casts can be determined by the rune combination that was created by the elemental skills. Since the rune combination takes into the account the number of rune elemental types and order, it can create a total of 40 distinct spells. Such a large number of spells from a single skill creates almost limitless possibilities. Then for the next class we have the Acolyte. This class is a dark magic user. The Acolyte thrives with blood, necrotic and poison damage. She can curse her enemies, debuffing them before unleashing her wrath. This class also specializes in controlling minions. The Acolyte can even use her own health to power abilities. As far as masteries go, the Leech specializes in dealing direct damage, and sometimes her minions to power her abilities. The Necromancer focuses on her minions and can deploy them in a wide variety of ways, including as an army, a single powerful entity, or even turn them into exploding grenades. All classes in this game can use all damage types, but each one excels at few of them. The Acolyte has the most support for physical, necrotic and poison damage, including the related elements of bleed and damned. However, her minions also have support for fire and cold damage, making this one of the most damage versatile classes. The Acolyte overall has 3 subclasses / masteries, called the Leech, Necromancer and Warlock, which is in the development. The first subclass is the Leech. The Leech is the master of dark arts, which is able to cast physical spells through blood magic, as well as having a firm grasp of the necrotic and poison damage. While her skills are often cast at range, she is also more capable when it comes to the melee combat. Although Necromancer is the main minion mastery, Leech also is able to deploy and take advantage of them. The most unique thing about this mastery is the ability to sacrifice her own HP in order to increase her power, creating an increased risk/reward type of playstyle. This mastery bonuses give her Leech an increased damage when missing her health. Then the next one is the Necromancer. This is your classical minion class. The Necromancer has the ability to wield large armies, single but powerful minions, or sacrifice them in a variety of destructive ways. She is also capable of buffing her minions, creating the opportunity of a more active playstyle, even for zoning builds. The Necromancer's minions have a wide variety of supported damage types, allowing for a large amount of variety in the build. She can also use her minions to provide buffs to herself, which will improve her own damage or survivability. The mastery bonuses will provide her with more skeletons or skeletal mages, as well as increased minion damage. And then finally we have the Warlock mastery, which is in the development. All we know right now about the subclass is that he is the master of the forbidden arts. He will tear into the essence of their foes, twisting and corrupting their spirits with relentless curses and hexes. So then moving over to the next class, which is the Primalist. This is a very versatile class that fills up several thematic roles. The Beastmaster focuses on the pets and melee damage, then the Shaman specializes in torments, and the Druid is your primarily transformation class in this game. The wide variety of options mean that there's something for almost everyone to enjoy in the Primalist toolbox. The damage types with primary support are physical, lightning, cold and poison. Primalist also has a wide variety of defensive options, including the highest support for endurance of all the classes. Like I said, all classes in this game can use all damage types, but each one excels at only few of them. So the Primalist is the second only to the Acolyte in supported damage types, with large amounts of support for the physical, lightning, cold and poison damage. The Primalist has 3 masteries available, which are the Beastmaster, Shaman and the Druid. The first subclass is the Beastmaster. For the Necromancer, minions are expendable tool, but not for the Beastmaster. These are companions whose death are to be avoided at almost all cost. These companions have their own active skills that can be used by the player whenever they're off cooldown. If a companion falls into combat, they can be revived, and any Primalist can use companions, but the Beastmaster excels at them, gaining access to more support and the ability to have more companions. He also has strong support for the melee and physical and poison damage types. The Beastmaster's most unique mechanic comes from the aspects, which are special buffs that he can apply to himself and his companions through certain actions. Then the next one is the Shaman. This mastery is your primarily totem user, but he also excels at spellcasting. His damage type support is largely around cold and lightning, but he also has some physical skills. He can use totems for direct damage or provide buffs to spells, melee skills or even companions. His mastery bonuses reduce totem mana cost, provide attunement, and buff the Shaman's elemental resistance while he's controlling the totem. And then finally we have the Druid. The Druid's most notable feature is the ability to transform into a Werebear form, Spriggan form or Swarmblade form. Werebear and Swarmblades are mastery exclusive, making this class a must for anyone who wants to experience all of the transformation playstyles. He also has the ability to switch between multiple forms, which will gain him buffs from doing so. Damage type support is physical, poison, cold, and lightning. This mastery bonuses give him increased health and mana, and damage reduction when leaving a transformed state. And now, last but not the least, we have the 5th class called the Rogue. The Rogue is your jack of all trades type of guy, with playstyles of a ninja, assassin, and even a ranger. The Rogue has a skill set that includes attacking from the shadows, firing with the bow from range, and even melee ranking skills, so he can seemingly do it all. It doesn't hurt that he also has the widest variety of defensive options at his disposal, including the most dodge support and exclusive access to glancing blows damage support. He's largely based around physical and poison, but he has solid access to fire, cold, and lightning, which will only add to his versatility. The Rogue also has access to shadows, which is a unique mechanic that creates a copy of the Rogue and mimics the next skill used. As far as masteries go, the Rogue offers 2 very different playstyles. The Blade Dancer is focused around melee with some throwing support, while the Marksman is the only mastery that can use a bow. And for now, the Rogue has 2 masteries, with the last 3rd one called the Falconer, which is in the development. The first mastery is the Blade Dancer. The Blade Dancer fits the ninja/assassin type of playstyle, with skills like the shuriken and smoke grenades. A unique feature of this mastery comes from the Shadow Daggers, which is an ailment that guarantees to crit when used. Blade Dancer is primarily focused on physical and poison damage, but he also has some support for fire. Defensively, it has more support than the Marksman, for both dodge and glancing blow, which makes up for it for the large risk this playstyle tends to come up against. And then finally we have the last mastery, which is not in development, called the Marksman. This mastery has exclusive access to both bows and quivers, and much of their damage scales only with bow. Your main skills are the multi-shot and hail of arrows, but there are also some more unique options. This mastery has much better balance of supported damage types, because of the physical, poison, fire, lightning, and cold all being good build options. So then in my last and final summary, the Sentinel is your typical warrior or knight type of class, but with some interesting thematic options that fit the lore of the game. Then for the second one we have the Mage, that fills the role of the elemental spellcaster, but he also has a melee twist. Then the Acolyte primarily deals with physical, necrotic, and poison damage, while also being able to master minions. Then the Primalist can focus on companions, totems, and shapeshifting, or even play as a melee or spellcaster. And then finally for the 5th class we have the Rogue, which fills the fantasy type of assassin, ninja, or ranger, giving it a lot of playstyle versatility, and that's about it. So I really do appreciate everyone for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, feedback, or maybe you have a different idea about a class or mastery in this video, then you're feel free to leave your comments in the comment section down below. And while you're doing that, please click like, subscribe, and enable that notification bell. With all of this said, you have an amazing day, and I will see you in my next video. So take it easy, peace.